Welcome to Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And now that the 2021 CFL draft is complete, let's take a very early look at some of the prospects you want to keep an eye on from the youth sports heading into the 2022 season as we start to prepare our watch list for the 2022 CFL draft. As always, let's start with the quarterbacks. Get those guys out of the way. There are two prospects that have caught my attention as top-tier talents, and I'm excited to see how this plays out this upcoming season. Trey Ford out of Waterloo is a consensus top youth sports QB prospect this upcoming season, and justifiably so. He pushed back his draft year to 2022 to much of the light of the Waterloo Warrior faithful. Ford has a perfect game for today's brand of football. He's got the ability to make accurate throws on the move, shows the ability to create plays off script, and has the athleticism to be a +1 in the run game. He's the do-everything type threat that could find himself not only playing in the CFL, but also in a postseason all-star game down in the States. Back in 2018, he posted a 30-touchdown, 2-interception season, which was the best in program history, also throwing for over 3,000 yards. He followed that up in 2019 with an 18-10 season, but also contributed to 830 yards rushing and 8 rushing touchdowns, bringing his career rushing total to over 2,100 yards in his career and 16 touchdowns. So needless to say, there was a lot of excitement amongst the CFL scouting community about Ford this upcoming season. The other outstanding quarterback prospect to keep an eye on is Carousello out of Wilfrid Laurier. The 6'4", 205-pound signal caller has the upside that you look for as a passer. You saw marked improvement in 2019 over his 2018 season, completing 60% of his passes in the process, and I would expect that number to continue to jump this upcoming year. What I like most about Carousello's game is his accuracy and his placement. He does a fantastic job of putting the ball where it needs to be on a consistent basis. Look at some of these throws. I mean, you can't place these passes in better spots for the receiver. It doesn't matter at what level of the field he's throwing the ball gets exactly where it needs to be to help maximize the play or create run after the catch opportunities. Filling out his frame is an area where he can continue to grow, but the passing tools are definitely there for him to put some heat on Trey Ford for that top spot at the position. Now here's a look at some of the top prospects you want to keep an eye on. Again, this is not a rankings list. This is just some of the names that you want to get familiar with as we head into the summer. Gavin Cobb out of Manitoba transferred to that program from Simon Fraser, the Division II program in Canada that plays in NCAA football. He should have a fantastic year for the Bison. Adam Mackert out of Saskatchewan and his teammate Charlie Ringland are just more along the lines coming from that premier program from the Huskies. Mackert was one of the top backs in last year's draft class, but obviously they didn't play, so look for him to regain that title this year for Saskatchewan. Now, there are some good point-of-attack players that's going to be in this draft class. Joshua Archibald out of McGill. First of all, when you watch him play, you could tell he was well coached out there in that program in McGill. You'd see someone at 6'3", 255 that can play the point-of-attack game very well. He's very strong there, so he can anchor, set the edge, and play the run. But what I like about him is how he doesn't stay blocked in terms of rushing the passer. You see him utilize a multitude of pass rush moves to get to the quarterback. You see the hand fighting, you see the swim under, swim over, you see him utilize a push, pull, rip technique, or even utilize his leverage as a 6'3" guy getting up underneath those offensive linemen and walking his way to the quarterback. He's just very active at the line of scrimmage, has good quickness and good redirection skills, so he should be one of the premier defensive end prospects in his class. And Donovan Bergmeyer out of Alberta is another one of these top tier point of attack players that shows a good bit of versatility and athleticism. He can drop back in coverage, he can rush from both ends, and shows the ability to kick down inside and rush over guards. You talk about someone coming from a premier program. Alberta has produced not only some NFL players, but also significant CFL studs on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So we know this guy coming out will have great hand usage, good football instincts that you see right there on the interception, but also has the ability to play both ends of defense. I'm talking about play the run equally as well as he can rush the passer. Someone is going to get themselves a talent in Bergmeyer that can play anywhere essentially within that front seven, but I do see him as a hand in the dirt edge rusher coming off the corner and terrorizing quarterbacks. And you know what? Let's stay on the defensive side of football and look at Ryder Varga, the 6'3", 225-pound linebacker out of Regina. When you watch him play, you see someone That's a terrific blitzer. He is also very relentless in his approach to the quarterback and to the ball carrier. This is someone who you can deploy as an inside blitzer or an outside blitzer. I think he does a great job in chasing the away run, and despite being 225 pounds, you're not going to push him around the line of scrimmage, so he can play the physical game if you want him to. You see that quick burst off the ball and that acceleration that makes him such an elite prospect for the CFL. It's because, again, you have someone that can cover ground in coverage, but also shows the elite level instincts and acceleration to close on a ball carrier. Excited about his potential this upcoming season. One of the top linebackers at the spot in the U Sports ranks. And on the offensive side of the football, Jaylen Philpott out of Calgary is just one dynamic football player. You see someone that can impact the game in multiple ways. He's a dynamic kickoff and punt returner, as you see right here, has the speed to take the distance, and that's a long way to take a football, and he has the ability to weave through traffic, find a lane, and explode through it. And it's just not as a returner. He's a bit of a game breaker as a wide receiver. You routinely see him find his way through zone coverage or even beat man-to-man coverage with his great route running and that ability to accelerate versus man coverage. You see right there, bursting to the corner, track that football, get himself in position, and make the play. You see type of plays coming from Philpott all throughout his film. And to me, this is one of these guys that can not only play inside as a slot receiver, but also hold his own on the outside. But clearly where he's going to make his money immediately as a rookie prospect, as you see right here, as a returner. You just want the football in his hands. And again, when we talk about premier programs, Calgary has produced some outstanding wide receivers throughout their history. And this guy, Philpott, Jaylen Philpott, is the next in a long line of talented playmakers. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.